everyone, it's daytime. I'm Buster the Fox, and today I'm going to show you how to build my super fast, super easy, and lag-friendly general mob grinder. As you can see on your screen right now, this farm is incredibly efficient and will be netting you double chest upon double chest of those delicious drops. You can use this to get gunpowder for fireworks, bones for bone blocks or your nano farm, string for crafting wool, or ender pearls for crafting into Eyes of Ender or just some added mobility. That's right, this is a mob grinder that can actually farm endermen, which is something that a lot of the most popular mob farms right now are lacking. Let me fly inside this thing and show you just how it works. So, as you can see, this design uses slime block flying machines to push the mobs out and onto the killing platform. And it really doesn't get any more complicated than that. Because we're not using dispensers and water to flush out the mobs, the end result is a much faster farm, as well as one that is compatible with endermen so long as we build the spawning chamber 3 high. It also ends up being a much less lag-inducing farm as we aren't using a redstone clock, causing water updates or anything like that. On top of that, with the use of observer blocks, flying machines are so simple to build now that anyone could build one in survival mode. This makes this farm much less complicated to build than most designs out there at the moment. One last thing I do have to note is the use of the glazed terracotta blocks. These were an addition in Minecraft version 1.12, and while they may be a bit of an eyesore, they actually play a pivotal role in the design. Glazed terracotta blocks have the property of being able to be pushed by pistons and slime blocks, however they cannot be pulled by slime blocks. And as we are using the slime block flying machines in this design, it's important that we use a type of block that won't be affected by slime blocks, but that mobs can still spawn on. Note that any immovable block could have been used for this design, such as obsidian or furnaces. However, I've found that glazed terracotta is the best material to use for this, as it's much easier to obtain than something like obsidian, and furnaces, while not hard to get, are actually ticking tile entities, which means that when used in large quantities, they will actually contribute quite significantly to server lag. With all that out of the way, it's time to actually show you how to build this thing. On the right side of your screen, you will be seeing a list of items needed to build this 2-floor design that I use. For the most part, you're probably going to need access to a mesa biome for all the glazed terracotta, as well as a slime farm for all of the slime blocks you're going to need. You could also spend a few nights fighting slimes in a swamp biome. However you need to do it, these are the supplies you're going to have to get. Do note this list does not include the supplies needed to create the killing platform. What's listed here is only what's needed to build the actual spawning chamber and flying machines. To start, you'll want to build 20 blocks out with your glazed terracotta blocks. Next, build out in the other direction 40 blocks. Now this can be longer or shorter if you like. If you build it larger, you'll have more spawning spaces in your farm, which means more drops, but you can always build it smaller if you need or want to for whatever reason. However, the first side cannot be any longer than 20 blocks. This is because the slime block flying machine we're going to be building can't be any longer than 20 blocks, so building any larger on that side would just be a waste. After you've built out your frame, you're going to want to fill in the entire area, like so. Once we've filled in our first spawning platform, you'll want to build a 2-wide hole at either end of the farm. This is where your mobs will be pushed out of the farm and into the killing chamber of your choice. Make sure you build it in this sort of handlebar shape, as it'll be important later on for our flying machine stations. Next, build a 1-high wall around the sides of the spawning platform just like this. We're not building on the shorter edges just yet, as we'll need to do a bit of redstone there later. This one block does need to be glazed terracotta, as this is where the slime blocks are going to be flying, and any other building block would mess everything up. At this point, we're going to begin building our flying machines. We're going to need our slime blocks, sticky pistons, observers, and immovable blocks here. Start by placing your immovable blocks 2 blocks out from the center of your spawning platform like this. It's important that you do this on both sides before building your flying machines, as if you were to accidentally send it flying off, it's going to be hard to stop it. Once you've got your safety rails in place, it's time to see just how easy it is to build a flying machine. First, place a sticky piston facing into the farm with 10 slime blocks running horizontally off its face. Next, we need to place another sticky piston facing the opposite direction at a diagonal from the first piston. That one will also have 10 slime blocks leading horizontally from its face. Next, you'll need to place some temporary blocks up 1 block in front of each piston so that we can place observers facing upwards. Once you remove the temporary blocks, your flying machine will likely take off on its own. Next comes the very simple redstone for the flying machine stations. All you need for this is an observer block facing towards your flying machine's own closest observer block, which goes into a repeater. Run that into a block with redstone dust on top, into another repeater set to 4 ticks, and finally with that repeater running into a trapdoor. It can be a wooden trapdoor or an iron one, either one will work great here. Once we've created this mechanism on both sides, we will have created a flying machine that perpetually slides back and forth across our spawning pad. And to shut it off, all we need to do is place a lever on the block with redstone on top and power it. This prevents the trapdoor from updating its block state, which in turn prevents the observer from sending our flying machine back out into the wild again. Next, use your building block of choice to build the walls 2 more blocks up around the sides. Alternatively, you could also only build it up by 1 more block if you don't want the farm to spawn any endermen. Once that's done, simply repeat everything you've already done, but just up 1 level. In fact, you can do this for as many levels as you'd like up to build limit, and each floor you add will, in theory, increase the rates of your farm. In this case, the sky is literally the limit. Once you've finished your second platform, make sure the entire area is walled off to prevent light from getting into the farm. This can be a little tricky around the redstone and flying machines, but as long as you're careful to only cover the ends of the farm with glazed terracotta blocks and not a regular building block, you shouldn't run into any problems with the flying machine sticking to things. Finally, do make sure you either light up or half slab the roof area of your farm to prevent mobs from spawning there as well. And since we built our farm at least 128 blocks above the surface, the only valid places for mobs to spawn are inside of the farm, making it super efficient. Just make sure you stand at least 24 blocks away from it, or else mobs won't spawn inside. Also, if you're on a server, other players online can affect the rates greatly due to them taking up a part of the mob cap. But if you're the only one online, you should be seeing the full crazy rates this thing is capable of. Our farm is very near to completion now, and there are only a few final steps we need to take to maximize our spawn rates. Specifically, we're going to need a large wall leading down from either side. This is to prevent daylight from getting into the farm from the bottom. You'll need to do this on both sides to get the both rates. If you don't add this part, the edges of the spawning platform will be less likely to spawn mobs, which will cut into the amount of drops you get. To get the entire platform at light level 0, you'll need to build this wall a lot of blocks down. I haven't done the math, but alternatively, you could just cut the entire thing off, but then you'll have to figure out your own killing method other than this hopper, dropper, killer, chambery thingy mabobby. And if you do that, just take note, magma blocks do not work because they don't kill the witches, and also endermen like to teleport away from there, so just keep that in mind when coming up with your own method for killing mobs. As for that killing mechanism, I like to kill the mobs via a simple dropping trap. You can see here I opted for a floor of hoppers, all leading to a central point which you can then put into a centralized sorting or a bulk storage system of your choice, however you want to do that. Of course, it does take a lot of hoppers, but if you've got the supplies for it, it's certainly one of the simpler methods you can use. So yeah, feel free to come up with your own here, but if you've got an Iron Titan, maybe this would be simple for you. For mine, I simply counted down 40 blocks from the lowest part of the wall there. You might want to go a little bit lower though, because on rare occasion, mobs that spawn with feather falling boots will actually survive the fall, and then you'll just have mobs standing here and, you know, it's no good and stuff. And that's it, we are done. One final feature you may want to add though is an on and off switch, which you really should add because the flying machines have a tendency to get stuck when the chunks get unloaded at the wrong moments, and trust me, you do not want to be going into a giant room full of mobs just to fix your flying machines. It's just not pretty. So all you need to do to power this, what you need to do is power these redstone dusts right here. So what I like to do is place a block something like that, place a redstone torch right there, or not there, rather right there, put a lever there, and then just simply torch tower your way up, get up to the second one, and then that will power that block. So you can see both of these are powered now. We can remove this one. Now when we turn this off, these will both be off, which allows the flying machines to go off on their own. But then if you flip this again, it'll power both sides, which will end up powering the trapdoors on the inside. Therefore, it'll stay right in our station until we turn it on again. So, it's very simple. I don't think you could find a simpler way of doing this. And you can torch tower this up as high as you want if you were to do more than 2 layers of this farm. So, that's a very easy solution for turning it on and off. And there you have it. Now you know how to build one of the most delicious farms out there. As mob farms go, it's very efficient, much more lag friendly than most designs out there, and very simple to build to boot. So thank you guys ever so much for watching. Please remember to leave a like, and don't forget to subscribe before you go. But until next time, goodbye everyone. It's nighttime.